think I'm good. That looks fine. Hello, everybody. This looks like it's working again, right? Yeah, it looks like it. No, just my microphone was not cooperating, so I was just... Day. Sounds like sound is coming through, so that's good. Anyway, hold on. There we go. That's significantly... Hey, I'm on ultra low latency this time, so now there's hopefully significantly less delay and lag. Anyway, happy Wednesday, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 15th, 2020. You know what today is? Today is the original tax day. But that got moved back, so it's okay. But hey, if you haven't filed your taxes yet, you've got time. You have filed your taxes, the government probably thanks you if you made some sort of payment. So that's good. Hopefully everybody got their taxes in on time. If you haven't, you have time. And hopefully it's not too stressful of a situation for you because, well, there's plenty of other stress going on right now in the world. And, well, taxes are probably not something you really want to add to your stress burden, but they're important, so you probably should figure out a way to get that taken care of while you can. So that's not great. Speaking of stuff that's really not great, it snowed last night here. So I wake up, I open my blinds, and there's snow on the ground. There's snow on the roof, there's snow on my grass, there's snow on the sidewalks. It's chilly out. It is the middle of April. April is 30 days, it is April 15th. We're in the smack dab middle of April, and we have snow on the ground. Because you know what? I think spring looked at everything that's going on, like, nope, I'm good. I'll come back later. This isn't something I really want to deal with right now. So, wish we had that option, but we don't have that option right now. So, we have snow in Iowa right now. It's great. But that's okay. Because you know what? Not an icy road. We don't have commutes to make. And hopefully, everybody who does have some sort of commute is out there driving safely. But yeah, that wasn't a great thing to wake up to. But that's okay. Because you know what? We're going to get through this. I hope. I think we're going to. But that's okay. Anyway. What else? You know what? I am running on less than 6 hours of sleep, and it sucks. But I have caffeine pills, and I had an Arnold Palmer drink mix. But I didn't get to sleep right away last night. I don't know why. I laid in bed for a while. It sucked. But you all know that feeling. It's just I don't know why. I don't know what kept me up. I just wasn't awake, or I wasn't asleep. Didn't fall asleep. It stunk. Like 11. It was like 11:30. It's like, you know what? Fine. This isn't gonna happen. So, one of the online communities that I'm a part of was it's on Discord. So it's like Slack or like Teams. There's different channels for different stuff. We have a music channel where we share different songs that, there's somebody who was trying to do like a song a day or something. And I eventually was like, okay, well, I'm not falling asleep. So I'm going to actively to actually think about something. And that channel for some reason popped into my head. Like, okay, well, let's think about like, what would I share there? What could I share there? And it was like, well, thinking about, so in terms of like what early CDs or albums or something do you remember listening to? And I remember getting a blue like portable CD player. So it was like a blue translucent case, and you'd put the CD in there, and so it was like a clamshell. You put the clamshell down, you plug your headphones in and play, and you could like skip the tracks, you could fast rewind a little bit, volume like dial kind of thing. And I think it could either do like a shuffle or maybe like program a little bit in terms of like how it would go about doing it. It was perfectly adequate. It ran on AA batteries, like basically everything did back then. But I don't know if the first album that I got or like the second one, again, when I say albums, I mean CDs. So we're CDs. But I think one of the first ones so again, this is at 11:30 at night, so I'm feeling great. It's like, why the heck can I not fall asleep? Whatever, we're going to think about music, because music is significantly more fun than trying to think about whatever the heck is going on in the world, basically with everything, because I don't think I'm going to get to go to a baseball game this year. I don't know what's going to happen, so we're not going to think about that. We're going to think about music, because music is much more fun, and music is very diverse, and can be calming or not, but that's okay. So I was like, well, okay, let's think about the early CDs that I've gotten, and memories wise, I go to like my folks. I remember getting the CD player and being in like the kitchen kitchen breakfast room area of, it's not the dining room. It was like the kitchen combo. It's like the room where you have a table that you eat at probably more consistently, but it's not your dining room. It's not the fancy one. But it was just like, it's a kitchen. It's a food room. It's fine. But I remember like standing, there was like at a counter with that, opening the CD case and putting the CD in. And the CD that it was was, oh boy, this is also like a holographic kind of case thing, so this is gonna probably look great on camera. But oh man, and the lighting is horrible and it's reflecting everything. But it is the SpiderMan music from and inspired by. It is not the soundtrack with like a bunch of Danny Elfman songs. It is a bunch of like rock lyrical songs that are either, quote, from or inspired by the first Spider-Man movie, the one with Tobey Maguire, not the Amazing Spider-Man. I've only seen one of those, so that's not great. But so Spider-Man 1. It's like, wow, yeah, so if I remember like listening to this, I remember like having a couple different songs that I really listened to a lot on it. And oh my gosh, I was surprised that, well, one, I didn't get up and like put it in the CD player. I don't have a portable CD player. But I pulled up my phone, pulled up Spotify, and I've got Sonos speakers, and I've got one by my bed, and I put like part of that CD on there. And it was like, oh, yeah, I remember these songs. And it was very strange because, again, this has a date of 2002. It is an 18-year-old CD. And it's like, just lyrics come back to you. It's really kind of funny. And, oh boy, here we go. Okay. I think now that's what I call music. Oh, it was. Yeah. But oh yeah. But it's like, okay, well, this is a CD. And then you try to look at stuff up on Spotify. And I think I found the CD, or like the album, on Spotify. But some of the songs are grayed out. And like one of the songs that I wanted to play, the one by, also, Sum 41 had a song on here, which is really strange. It's like, this is the first Sum 41 song that I listened to. And like it fit the Sum 41, like what they were producing at the time. But it's like, oh, this is strange. And it wasn't on Spotify, so I had to pull up like the music video. And the music video did not help me think it was any less strange. But it's like, oh yeah, I remember like these songs, and like the lyrics come back, and it's like, whoa, why is that still in my head after, what is that? 15 years, 14 years, 10 years, even 10 years. Like, oh yeah, comes back, start working your way through the album. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, there's a Chad Kroeger featuring Josie Scott. I don't know who Josie Scott is. I still don't know. But Chad Kroeger is, I believe, the lead singer for Nickelback. So it's like, oh yeah, I remember that song. Sum 41, Black Loud. It's like, oh yeah, it's like I remember liking the song. And it's like, okay, Black Lab. I don't recognize that artist, but I now have. It's like, okay, I've got Spotify. I can like look them up. So this is like, oh man, this is really good. But oh yeah, no. And then there's more like popular song, like, well, popular or more obvious artists. Like, okay, Default. I've got like a couple of different songs that I like by them. Corey Taylor, who I believe is part of Slipknot, and one other band. Also, Slipknot is supposedly like, there's somebody in Des Moines who's part of Slipknot. That's a completely different thing. Oh no, they're well into like more than the 70s. We're gonna get this question addressed real quick. Now, they are on. Oh, never mind. They're into the 70s. Okay. Two, now that's what I call music titles, coming this spring from You Discovered Music one day ago. Oh gosh. The two new ones that they're going to come out are Now That's What I Call Music 74, and the other one is titled Now That's What I Call Yacht Rock 2. We're going to come back to that because that's weird. And Now That's What I Call Music 74, and Now That's What I Call Yacht Rock 2. That's not concerning at all. Yes, let's release a yacht rock album right now because you know what? We all want to be socially isolated and dancing to yacht rock because I don't know what that is, but that's okay. But yeah, no, going through the CD, it's like, whoa, yeah, okay, again, Default, Corey Taylor, The Strokes, The Hives, Theory of a Deadman. I was exposed to Theory of a Deadman as a 10-year-old. It's like, I definitely enjoy them now, but it's like, okay, yeah, as a 10-year-old, 9-year-old, I'm listening to Theory of a Deadman. That's different. Those are like the big ones that I like recognize now. But again, as like a 9-year-old, it's like, okay, whatever. These are the songs that I have, and it's just okay what I'm like listening to. And again, put it on a CD player. Like you don't have any other. Like I had this CD And we'll get to the other album that I have from that, like, early on. But, so yeah, you just play that on repeat. Like, I remember, I think my folks, like, we had a condo in, like, Door County, or like, when we were at, like, a hotel room or something. And I remember, like, sitting and going through, like, the CD multiple different times. Or, like, okay, I've got, like, 4 songs on this CD that I want to listen to. I think I could set it up, like, okay, play, like, track 4, 8, 12, and 13. And it would just do that in a loop. And it was awesome. So I would do that a bunch. It's like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. You have the you have the memories of listening to the song while this is going on, or the memory of listening to this song while doing this, laying in bed. And like I've got ones like, okay, yeah, driving somewhere, or just random things, or like brushing your teeth, or like if you listen to music like in the shower. It's like, yeah, I remember listening to this in the shower multiple times, and it became like a shower song for me, and still is. Very strange, but yeah, that SpiderMan music from an Inspired 2 CD. Oh yeah, definitely a part of it. The other CD, which I'm again hesitant, this one I'm hesitant to share because I don't know like how much credibility this will really give me or how much will take away. But the other CD that I got really early on, which ended up helping me a little bit in like 5th grade because like some random, like, I don't know if it's like a project or something, but the folks in my group they were like all, again, 5th grade girls talking about the group. And I'm like, oh, I have a CD. I know who these people are. But it was the album In Sync. Oh boy. No, there we go. No Strings Attached. Trying to avoid the glare. But yeah, that's the other, like, first, like, one of the first CDs that I ended up getting. I didn't buy it. I was 9, 10 years old. Why am I? I'm not going into like a Best Buy or something. I think Best Buy was around back then. I don't know. But it's like, I'm not buying CDs, and I don't think iTunes was really a big thing then. Like, I was a CD that I'm not sure how my folks arrived at getting me that one. But yeah, I've got an NSYNC album. It's like, oh yeah, I was vaguely aware of who all the members of the band were. So when the partners in my group were talking about the different members of NSYNC, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not completely unfamiliar with that, which was very strange. But no, after kind of like, again, 11:30 last night, I didn't really listen to that many of the songs on the album, but I eventually like worked my way to sleep. Again, less than 6 hours now, but got through the rest of the SpiderMan album, and then flipped over again on Spotify to NSYNC. And like, you know what? These are not horrible songs. They're fine. I mean, they're aged, and you can tell a little bit, but they're not horrible songs. I don't mind them. And you know what? Yeah, that's fine. And I don't think I'm very far through the album before I had meetings starting today, and having NSYNC blasting in the background of my meetings probably not a great thing. Dave, if it's a different story, please let me know, and I'll just start having soundtracks for our meetings, I guess, when I talk. But that's okay. But yeah, it's like, oh, okay. I guess I'll work through the rest of the No Strings Attached album probably at some point today. So, yeah. Again, 12 hours ago. Wait, let's pick up random songs from CDs that are more than half my age. Or, yeah. It's weird. But definitely thinking, it's like, okay, yeah, now I had a couple different like iPod Nanos. One went through the wash, so it got ruined. That's why I got another one. But the different like memories I have associated with, like, okay, when I purchased this album on iTunes, okay, you get an iPod of some kind, and then like iTunes gift cards were basically just like gold, because I really try. I mean, my folks were like, hey, don't buy a bunch of music with the, I think they linked up no, I don't think they did link up a credit card because they didn't have to. But it was like, hey, you've got an iTunes gift card. This is what you're going to use to purchase stuff that you want to have. So iTunes gift cards were basically like, oh my gosh, look at this gold. This is just wonderful. So I remember like getting different albums, and then like, okay, like I'm going on, like when I went on a youth group trip after like freshman year in high school, it was like the ELCA youth gathering in New Orleans, and we're a bus group, so we're traveling down there by bus, or a youth group, so we're traveling down there by like coach bus. And I remember getting, I think I got like probably a couple of albums by Rise Against, which again, not very like Christian, ELCA, happy type of songs to get, but I remember getting that and listening to that. It's like I remember listening to, I think, well, we're going to look it up because I can, and I don't have anything else written down. But I remember, so this trip to New Orleans, again, this is after like freshman year. So 11, 10, 10, 9, 9, 8. So this is summer of 2008. So we go down to New Orleans, and this involved like nightly gatherings at the Superdome. Where it was a really cool trip. I really enjoyed it. But we had one afternoon, or like part of the day, where we went, and I think we actually went to Alabama, but went to the beach there, and I mean, we had to take the bus to drive to there. And I remember listening to the Rise Against album, like Appeal to Reason. I don't know why I still remember that. That was 12 years ago, but yeah, I remember that. Um, I remember, I forget what actual albums I got, but summer before, like senior year of high school, I was going on a Spanish trip to Spain. And the weekend that we were due to leave, I also had a soccer tournament. And I remember going to the soccer tournament, going to one of the games because I was going to like, go to one game and then I was going to leave. But I remember getting, like, I forget what albums it was, but I was listening to one of them on the way to the game. And this is probably, it was probably like 8 a.m. Because the game would have been probably at like 10 and we had to get there by like 9. And it was a little ways away. Not super, it was probably like an hour, which is fine. So maybe like Appleton, if people know their Wisconsin geography at all. But yeah, it's like I remember getting that, like listening to that album and then driving home and then taking the, and it was very strange how we got them there. We had parents like chaperone multiple high schoolers down to Madison, and then we caught a park and ride bus from Madison to the O'Hare Airport. But yeah, it's like, okay, I get on the bus and listen to music there. And it was like 2 or 3 people per car heading down, so we were conversing and stuff, and people were kind of awake because we left kind of early from high school. But just going down and doing that, the different times of listening to different albums and what was also happening kind of in my life, but also just like, okay, what I was doing that day when I listened to them. Very interesting how it's all kind of like tied together. And I've got probably that bookshelf, the bookshelf is taller than me, so it's probably a 6-foot bookshelf. And it's probably got 6 shelves on it. And the top shelf is almost entirely filled with CDs. So yeah, I'm gonna step back and it's like, okay, it might be almost, it's probably more than 2 feet, maybe, but not 3 feet. So we'll be conservative and say 2 feet. So 2 feet wide of CDs stacked like on edge next to each other. Like, oh, that's a lot of CDs. And I think in most of those I have accrued since I graduated college and had money to actually like buy CDs, because like you can, like the music you can get from iTunes was fine, but the, like, being a bit of an audiophile now, but the quality that you can get from a CD is a little bit nicer than what you can just get from like iTunes or Amazon Music or whatever. And you can set up stuff on Spotify to like be the highest quality that's available, which I think is then like equivalent to what you can get from a CD. But I definitely went through a little bit. It's like, well, you know what? I think I've got like a 64 gigabyte iPhone. I was like, yeah, I have the space. I might as well fill it up. It's going to be fine. And you do it with MP3. So then it's like, okay, I think I had an Android phone before that. So you can just put it on an SD card, and storage is pretty inexpensive now. And you can have a bunch of songs. And yes, like, okay, iTunes and the like did really well because you could then purchase individual songs. But as I started listening to different like albums and stuff, it's like, oh, there's like a progression song to song. And some CDs, even like within an artist, are more set up to have that happen than others. But I definitely developed a bit of an appreciation from working my way through an entire album. So that was something I definitely enjoyed. But oh yeah, no, I've got a bunch of different ones, and I will probably start working my way through some of them. I mean, I've got I have a Blu-ray player down hooked up to my TV, and I can listen to it that way. But otherwise, I think I'll probably end up looking up the CD on Spotify and playing it through my speakers throughout my house. But that's probably what I'll end up doing. But like, yeah, I've got a lot of stuff to work through. Kevin is asking who is my favorite songwriter. I have no idea. Because, well, partially it's okay, what do you mean by songwriter? Do you mean like specifically the person who writes a song and doesn't necessarily always perform it? Or like just like performing artist, group, band, etc. And that also kind of depends. So, and it's like, well, I was like, well, I can go grab like one of the. I don't have any of the CDs that of albums that I've been listening to. Okay, writes it. I have no idea. No clue. I don't know songwriters really that well at all. And for as much as I've just talked about music and stuff, it sounds like, oh, he like listens to it and is like somewhat informed on this kind of stuff. I'm not. It really kind of stinks. But yeah, I don't know. I think for a while when I don't think it may have been a little bit when I was studying or like when I first started working after graduating college, there was a bit of a kick that I went through listening to like Baroque music. So in that case, like, oh yeah, the classic, like, okay, Johann Sebastian Bach, just hitting that repeatedly and hitting like as much of his library as I could. So I guess, I mean, he's a composer, therefore a songwriter. So Bach is not one that I am, or is one that's like I am a fan of the stuff he's written. And Baroque versus classical versus romantic. Baroque because it was like one, a harpsichord sounds kind of cool, and I enjoy the sound of that. And partially because romantic and classical was a little bit, I mean, one, it's a little bit flowier, and at times it slows down. And if I'm trying to keep myself up and like productive and stuff, having movements in a piece or having specific pieces come through that are not high enough energy, in my opinion or in my mind, to keep myself going and like focused, then I tried to like shy away from the classical and the romantic stuff. Baroque was at least a way for me to kind of have music that's varied enough. It's like, okay, it's not completely repetitive and it's always the same song, but it was pretty consistently, okay, yeah, you're probably going to have a harpsichord or some sort of string collection that plays a little bit more lively, a little bit more probably like staccato type of notes that are felt to be a bit more high energy and are easy for me to use as a way to keep myself focused and awake. So in that case, mainly because he's the only one that I can think of offhand, we're going to go with Johann Sebastian Bach in that case, even though he's not necessarily who would fall into like your typical songwriter, given that he was more of a, like he's deemed to be a composer. But sure, we'll go with Bach because that seems like a great idea. Yeah, it's very interesting. So again, I'm not wearing them now because I haven't been really needing to monitor any kind of audio recently, but I've got these Bose like Bluetooth headphones that work really well. I mean, they work great in the office. I mean, we've got like they pump the white noise and stuff like or whatever into the stuff at the office, and then I don't sit like directly within the actuarial group in Des Moines. I'm at the edge of it, so I sit by some loss control and some staff underwriting folks, I think for GL, and maybe one for like construction. But they're on the phone some. They have different conversations about stuff, and the headphones work pretty well to kind of block them out. Here it's very different because like, well, I don't have to block anybody else out, which is one say, okay, that's unfortunate. It's like I wish there was like somebody around, but come on, computer, come back. I don't like my screen. There we go. That's better. But I've got stuff on my speakers, and I've got a speaker in like each general like living area, like bedroom, other bedroom, got one by my desk, and then I have a couple downstairs. So I can have like the same song going around like in each of the rooms as like I walk around if I go down to get lunch, or if I'm like, okay, well, or like, well, now it's like half an hour ago where it's like, oh, my glasses are still in and I want to change that. And oh, I'm still just in a sweatshirt and I want to change to feel more like awake. So yeah, it's still going on there. So that's good. Reese is saying I can call him and get some nuisance noise from him, block out. Nah, Reese, I'm good. I'll pass on that. Alfie snoring. Nah, I don't need that in my life right now. But that's okay. Yeah, no, I've enjoyed those speakers. Yeah, music, like digging through all that. It's like, oh boy, this is a lot of stuff. Anywho, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah, this left of it's still kind of bubbly. I guess that makes sense. But left of 8 ounces, like water, four teaspoons of Arnold Palmer drink mix for 8 ounces. That seems like a lot. I mean, it tasted like normal, but that seems like a lot. And then I've got a caffeine pill, and the caffeine pills are like those like easy to put together, pull apart capsules. So I was like, well, break one of those, dump it in shaker bottle. Yeah, that's what got me through 8 o'clock meeting, followed by a 9 o'clock meeting, followed by a 10 o'clock meeting. So there was a gap between the 9 and the 10 o'clock meeting, so that was good. But yeah, less than 6 hours of sleep. I don't recommend it. I'm probably not going to feel great tomorrow either, but that's okay. Sleep is important. Sleep is very important now, given everything that's going on. So please try to get a lot of sleep, or get at least enough sleep for you. Don't be like, oh, well, I'm working from home, so I can get up later, so I can stay up later. No, this is a good opportunity. Like, you know what? I'm going to try to get a little bit more sleep than normal. And when I felt pretty good. And right now I'm running on less than 6 hours and probably I'm going to crash. But that's okay. So sleep is important. Sleep is very important. And if you can't fall asleep, don't just try to lay in bed, because, you know, it's not really going to work and it kind of stinks. And then you're left lying awake for an hour and a half and going through 18-year-old albums, and that's probably not a great thing. But that's okay. That was a choice that I made, and it's a choice that you don't have to make. If I end up being awake again tonight, people like, there's some stuff on the internet that says like, oh, hey, if you like can't fall asleep, like get up and do something. It's like, well, part of me is like, well, I'm awake thinking about the stuff that I didn't do today that I need to do, either work related or personal. It's like, well, I've got dishes that I could do. So, well, I don't really feel like, one, getting up, turning on enough lights to go downstairs, do a couple of dishes, and then go back to bed. But, well, what else? I mean, well, what else am I supposed to do? Or it's like, well, I don't want to get up. Like, just laying in bed is not great, supposedly, for you. And at times it's just like, oh, okay, I'm not able to fall asleep. And then you're thinking about it, and it's a cycle, and it sucks. But Reese is recommending I talk to Jeff Timms, Mr. Sleep Expert. Maybe I will. We'll see. But that was very strange. Didn't feel. I was like, I rode my bike again yesterday. I got exercise. I don't think I had. I mean, Dave, I guess you can attest to this. I don't think we've had anything like too stressful come through in the last couple of days work-wise. It's like, okay, we've got reviews. I mean, it's pretty normal stuff so far. It's not anything like horribly new work-wise. Yeah, I don't know. General PSA for folks. And I was trying to refresh my banking app yesterday to see, like, oh, I mean, I'm going to get like a check of some kind or a deposit of some kind, and couldn't really log in yesterday. Could log in today and nothing has come. But the IRS website where you can check your payment status is now live. It might take a little while to like initially get connected. Click on the link. It'll be like, okay, please wait. We're experiencing like high volume. It'll go through. It's fine. So go through and check that stuff. And I ended up being like, oh yeah, I want to like check my payment status. And it's like, oh, we don't have direct deposit information on file. It's like, well, but how did I pay my? And I guess that makes sense because I think I used like Credit Karma to file my taxes. So while Credit Karma has my bank information for that, the IRS specifically does not. So I provided routing number, bank account number, and the IRS is going to do a direct deposit because that's the fastest way to get a deposit made. You do need your like filing information, i.e., I think like your AGI and then how much you got in a refund or in a how much you paid. So you do need to provide that information. I think those are both on your like 1040 forms. That is the way to do that if you are going to set up direct deposit, because that is the fastest way to get your CARES Act deposit. Most likely, we would have to wait a while for a paper check to come because it is by income by week. So I think if like starting this week, it's everybody under, I don't know, 20, 30,000. Then it goes up every week. It's like another 10 grand or so that it goes up. So it'll take a while for some of us to get paid. If that's the case, if you want a paper check instead. So the direct deposit, I think, will be faster than that. So, but it's not his autograph though, because it's just getting printed. So that's another thing too. It's like, well, yeah. So I did that, and yeah, I've heard a bunch of different bank stuff is down. Again, like anything at this time, be patient. Have a little understanding that stuff is going to be stressed, and it's just going to be how it all, like, it's kind of going to go for a while. So do what you can to make stuff easier, i.e., direct deposit is probably a little bit easier than getting a check mailed to you. If you've moved recently, if anything, so that's what, I mean, just do that and then be understanding. Postal workers, delivery workers, if it doesn't come that day, be understanding that, like, you know what, it's like, it's okay, it's going to be fine. Again, I ordered a desk for my bike, and it's like, oh, it's going to come in like next week, Monday. It's like, that seems like a long time from now, which it is. And given everything that's going on, it's like, yeah, that really kind of sucks. And it's like, okay, that's a long time from now. But it's like, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to be here. I'm not planning on going anywhere. It's going to be fine. It'll come when it comes. And I don't need to be having these excessive demands for my bike desk to arrive immediately. It's going to be fine. I can ride my bike now. I can ride my bike when it comes. It'll be great. Kevin, be nice. Come on now. But yes, it is certainly worth it. The signature is certainly worth its weight in gold. So that's fun. Anyway, it is well past now. It's like a whole 3 minutes past. I did this without like show notes tonight, and I had so much to talk about. That was great. But no, I'm not going to like try to stay up late and get less than 6 hours of sleep consistently if this is what I'm going to get out of it. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I hope everybody's Tuesday goes well, or the rest of, no, today is Wednesday. Yeah, I have not gotten sleep, and it shows. Today's Wednesday. Hopefully everybody's Wednesday goes wonderfully. And I think I will take a 24.5-hour break and talk to you again at 12:15 Central, 1:15 Eastern tomorrow, because, well, I have a meeting scheduled of some kind. I forget, who do I get to blame for this meeting being moved tomorrow? I get to blame, oh, it's an Oregon meeting. I get to blame Yuri. It's an important meeting though, so it's fine. So yep, this will be at 12:15. So instead of, well, 12:15 Central, 1:15 Eastern. So 24.5-hour break. I hope everybody has a very enjoyable rest of your Wednesday. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will talk to you all